hello there, humans of his earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you like. Take two. Hello there, humans of his earthlings, whoever you are, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, if you like it enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Today we're going to be looking at the AMX 5100, which I've looked at before and came to the resounding conclusion that it was an excellent tank. However, the reason I'm looking at it today is because some things changed without everyone realizing. And this thing picked up another 30 damage per clip. And that means that over a 4-shot clip, you're doing an extra 120 damage. And that's a lot. And it means that this tank has got even stronger. And I already thought it was really strong. And it was a good excuse for me to then play the tank again. Because goodness gracious me, do I like a little bit of French autoloader love. And it's a good excuse too to talk about just the game in general and some of the things that are going on and why I think this is an interesting tank at the moment and why I think it does particularly well at tier 8. It's a very, very different tank. And in fact, I think it could be the best example of autoloader balance that we've seen in the game so far, because this is the kind of tank you want when you think autoloader. You're thinking of a big clip, 4 shots in the clip, you're thinking of a decent alpha, a big output, and good mobility but very weak armor profile. Those are all the things that really were personified for me by the French autoloaders that I saw on PC when I first picked up the game and wanted to think about getting stuck into autoloaders. Now, before I go any further, if you want to become a patron, I'm putting up weekly videos that are patron only. I'm putting up weekly podcasts that are patron only, as well as all the videos that I'm doing here on channel with everyone else. You're not missing out if you're not a patron, but if you would be so kind as to consider sponsoring the channel, that would give me a very, very big thrill indeed. Now, this is a tank that is incredibly rewarding if you can line it up, if you can drive it correctly, and if you can survive long enough to unload a couple of clips, because the armor profile is pretty bloody soft. But to give you an example of why I think it's so strong, you can one clip a T28. And while that might not be common knowledge, it was not possible really before this patch. The T28 is a tier 8 TD. It's not particularly mobile, it's not particularly amazing, but it has 1150 hit points. The old alpha on this gun made a very, very iffy proposition that you can get away with that. Nowadays, average 4-clip alpha on this gun is 1240, which gives you a 90 hit point grace period of one clipping a tier 8 TD from full health all the way down to 0 health, which is pretty crazy. 310 alpha is nothing to be scoffed at. And the other thing that people don't seem to realize with this tank, it's incredibly mobile. It's a heavy tank that doesn't have a lot of armor, has a huge sting in the tail, and has the ability to really get out and shift. Now, that's not to say it has no armor whatsoever. It certainly has a very steep slope on its upper glacis. It can wiggle and jiggle and be a punish and actually bounce some shots, especially on derpy guns like this where you never know where the gun's going to go. And you've got to get very, very good indeed at learning how to... You've got to be creative. If you're not creative with this tank, you're going to spend a great deal of time dead, because when you push up on people, they're going to bite back once you're out of a clip. You've also got to learn how to reload at the right time, to use as many shells as you possibly can, and then pump the reload button when you think there's going to be a break in play, because there is a 23.27 second reload on the magazine, which is a fair bloody lot of time to be stuck doing. I mean, look at this thing. We're doing nearly 50 kilometers an hour. Boom. It is a lot of fun, and it is the master of just good, quick, hard damage and securing kills really, really quickly. Few stats on the gun. It's a heavy tank, tier 8 heavy tank, but compared to its compatriots, it is absolutely startling in terms of the gun handling. There are other tier 8 heavy tanks that have better gun handling, namely the Carnarvon, which has incredible gun handling. But for a tier 8 heavy, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I run it with calibrated shells. That's important to note because that gives you 243 millimeters of pen on your standard AP rounds. 243. Absolutely insane, hey? That's the best pen of any tier 8 heavy you're going to find. 243 millimeters of pen on AP. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. Dispersion is 0.326, which is certainly very, very solid. In fact, it's worse than the Carnarvon, which is 0.29, but like it smashes the Defender and the T32 and you know, your IS6 variants and all those tanks with 120 millimeters. The 100 millimeter on this thing is just deadly, absolutely deadly, and it gives you the ability to take any target that it's at 1,000 hit points or lower and get rid of it really, really fast. There's a 3.3 second gap between shells in the clip. So you're looking from the time you fire to the time you finish at 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, you can outlay a massive amount of damage, over 1,100 damage. And that's especially good if you can get it when no one's actually looking at you. And it also allows you to do really, really creative things. Like you can see I'm about to do here. There's a tiger pushing up. I'm in a bad spot. I'm completely outnumbered. There's a mod 1 coming around this corner. I'm going to focus on him. There's one. I'm going to hit the engine boost there, pump another one into him as he goes around the corner, back up, angle to the tiger. I'm going to take one because he was using HE, and then I'm going to get a shot in down the middle here and just flog it around this corner here with the engine boost just finishing there, and escape from the tiger and down underneath to fight another day. I'm going to take one from him as I run. But that blend of mobility and absolutely massive damage output that you just saw there would not be possible in any other tier 9 heavy tank. You might be able to do something like it in the IS-3 Defender, but you're certainly not going to do it with that kind of flair and je ne sais quoi, because I'm a French-loving machine. It's pretty crazy, hey? And it's something that a lot of people just don't even realize is there. It's an insanely strong tank. The aim time, I'll tell you what you can compare it to. Look at the T69, the American Tier 8 medium tank. Now, the T69 is much maligned. I think reasonably so, because it's not exactly a strong tank. It's got a 3-shot clip, and it does far less damage per minute. It only pumps out 1,922 with 173 millimeters of pen. 3 shots on a 225 alpha. It does have a much quicker time between the clips, which is fair enough. It is a medium tank and it needs to get those shells out there, but you're still looking at a 3-second reload time versus a 3.3 second reload time. So you've got 3-second reload time, 225 alpha, 173 millimeters of pen, and 0.364 dispersion. Okay, you can get that down to 0.337. The AMX 5100 has a 3.3 second reload time, 310 alpha, 4 in the clip, so it has an extra shot each clip, and it already has like 85 more alpha per shell. And it has 243 millimeters base pen versus 173 millimeters of pen. 52 kilometers an hour is your top speed in the T69, 45 in the AMX 5100. Now, your ground resistance stats aren't as good as the T69, but you're a heavy tank, for God's sakes. It is seriously, seriously strong. The traverse numbers are going to favour the medium. That is, of course, as it should be. But that doesn't mean that your traverse on the AMX 5100 is poor. Your traverse in the AMX 5100 is just Jim Dandy. You can get it up to nearly 48 degrees per second. Play it like a medium tank, and you will be absolutely in love with this thing. I mean, you just saw me one clip at T28. I went around a corner, one clip to T28, was super aggressive in it, and I've emptied out another full clip. Knight Rider's there in the IS6. He's going to do a very, very good job. He's going to hold the line, and it works really well with another tank that can be aggressive. Did I mention you only have 6 degrees of gun depression. That's not amazing. That's kind of the one downfall. But if you can look at it and put it in the right position, you can still be really, really good with it. Now, there's a glacial coming across, 243mm a pen. Absolutely no problems. I'm absolutely exploiting these poor buggers here. I'm keeping the terrain between me and the TDs that they've got behind them, and these guys are now in all kinds of trouble. Look at this glacial. He's desperate. He's got this horrible gun handling that all those IS-6 variants with the 120mm have. That IS-3 has the BL-9. Knight Rider's asking for help. I'm just going to try and get him to hold there. If he can hold there, we can clear this flank very quickly. I'm telling him on a reload. While I'm on the reload, I'm having a chat. And once the reload's done, I'm going to pop out here and cause all kinds of issues for this poor old IS-3. We're going to take one. That's great. He's in a BL-9. He's got a big reload ahead of him. We're going to have time to get 3 shots in while he sorts himself out. Look at the way it tracks. Look at the penetration. That's all straight up standard AP. I've just done 1,000 damage. There's him finished. I mean, that's a tier 8 heavy, and he has gone and got absolutely hammered there. No fault of his own, but this thing is an absolute monster. You have to watch out for HE. There is no sugarcoating the fact your armor profile from the side is horrific. If you are aggressive and you put yourself in a situation where you have people on both flanks, well, you're in trouble. But remember, you've got medium mobility, you've got medium armor, slightly better at the front than a lot of mediums. You've got insane burst damage, absolutely insane. And on top of that, you've got a heavy hit point pool. You've got 1,600 hit points. That IS-3 has less hit points than I do. I'm going to reverse up here, which is just fantastic. I'm reversing. I'm doing 20 kilometers reversing. He's struggling to keep up. What I'm basically doing is making him reload, making him give me time to reload. I'm trading distance for time. And now it's just all over for him. I mean, he's got no chance. Absolutely no chance. We don't waste a shot there. We don't waste a shell. Come out. Give him another one. Thanks very much. Straight through. Oh my good God. How good is this tank? How absolutely insanely fun is this tank? So if you didn't know this had happened, it's happened. It's got better. It's got more damage. It's maintained all the lovely stuff it had going on. You could run vents on this instead of calibrated shells, and that would give you the opportunity to have a buff to a whole range of stats. Your traverse, your reload, your view range, everything would be buffed. I just love all the pen. I love making sure that all of them go through and I never have to switch to APCR. Just an incredibly solid machine inside and out. Lots of stuff coming up on the channel, guys. I just got the MBN. Big boost to my internet speeds. And it's going to mean that I can do all kinds of lovely streaming tricks and bells and whistles. I want to have a chat to some people who are streaming with all those kind of bits and pieces on the screen. And then when I figure out how to do all that, I'll rock and roll on through and really start utilizing that and streaming on a regular basis, hopefully in 1080p, possibly in 1080p at 60 frames per second, which is exciting for me, like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, guys and girls, thank you so much for watching. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Look after yourselves. Thank you so much for your continued support, and thank you so much for making this game just a whole lot of fun for an awful long time. You're awesome. Rock on, team. And until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.